Okay, so I made some notes. It's only my second video. This is Titan. So this is a combination crate and potty training all in one because they both kind of coincide with each other. So this obviously for all dogs, not just Dobermans, but I listed it as Titan's Doberman crate training with potty because I want to get Titan out there. So Titan was a little bit different as far as the crate training went. I believe, there's a lot of videos out there, obviously, on crate training, and I believe in a lot of the original ones where you put the dog in there, and this is also coincides with your potty training. So you put him in there at night. Titan's 7 weeks old, so got him a little bit earlier. Normally, usually get him at 8 or 9 weeks, and so the first night I got him home. And I put him in the crate and crying and doing what I normally do. I'm sleeping on the couch. I have my sliding glass door ready to open, so I'm close and I don't have any interruption when I hear him wake up at night. So put Titan in there. He's whining. Probably 2 to 5 minutes. Seems like always a half an hour. And of course, everybody will tell you, as I would also, you just have to grin and bear it. It's not cruel, it's just something, they're away from their mother, their siblings, and for the first night, and especially at 7 weeks, like I said, it's a little bit earlier than normal. So Titan was in there, and whining, blah, 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 2 to 5 minutes, and, he stopped. Went to sleep, it was close to an hour. I heard him move around. And I went in, of course, opened the sliding glass door, opened the cage. You want to pick him up, bring him outside, told him potty. And of course, he had to go anyway, and he went potty. Praised him for going potty. Didn't want to throw him right back in the cage, so I sat and messed around with him a little bit, sit, stay, just to kind of get him busy and a little bit tired again. I didn't want to put him right back in there. So while I'm doing that, I had flipped the TV on because you want a little bit of noise going also. I think it kind of soothes them down when they're in the crate. As I'm messing around looking for something to put on the TV, which was YouTube, looking for more dog training videos, because you can always get some good advice out there, even though there's a lot of bad. I turn around, and here in the crate, this is a large. I have a little end of the bedspread that's actually kind of lipped over, and Titan's laying there and passed out. So normally, if you go to regular training, you pick your dog up, you put him in the crate, and you shut the door. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, you know what? Why not take a chance and see what's up? So I let Titan lay there. He was asleep. I left the sliding glass door open a little bit because I was obviously going to lay down and go to bed. This was probably, about 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. And sure enough, he laid there. I heard him get up about 2 hours later. I jumped up. I grabbed him off of there, brought him outside, told him potty. He went again. So again, played with him for a little bit, maybe 5 minutes. He went back, laid back down, and I'm like, okay, he's laying there, he's not whining, the lights, obviously are all out, the only thing I have on is the TV. So I'm starting to think, man, this is a little bit different than I normally would do. So Titan was laying there when I fell asleep. I hear him get up. I get up, and where's Titan? Titan's inside the kennel, the crate. So I'm like, wow, he's in the crate and his head's laying right here on the little U shape where you have the little bed. So I'm like, here you go. No mistakes inside the house. I mean, he could have probably got up, and I might not have heard him, but he must have went outside. So I heard him get up again, took him out again, told him potty, and he went again. And so I basically did the same thing that I did before. So getting back, getting to the crates, Obviously, the Doberman, it's a male, it's going to be a large dog. I got the large crate right away. I think it's kind of silly, depending on what size pup you have. Obviously if your dog's going to be small growing up, you don't have to have a large crate. But I don't think if you have a dog that's going to be a large breed, you want to go and buy a smaller crate, and then as they grow up, get a larger crate, because first of all, they're not cheap. I got this one, I don't know if you can say that, at PetSmart. The large crate was only $60. I've seen them, I looked online, they're $120. They can be $190, they can be expensive. But what I did was, because you want them in a smaller, they want to feel, like they're with their mom and their siblings, because if you think about them when they're pups, they're all together. They're very close, it's warm. So what I did was, I had an extra bedspread, so I wrapped it around to make it dark all around, but obviously so he can see out this way. Turned my TV so actually he could see that and hear it. And I'm laying right there and he could see me laying on my couch also, just so we had a little comfort zone. And again, it's worth suffering for a week or two. It'll cause you a lot of less pain and anguish of them going number 1 and 2 in your house. So what I did was I put a nice blanket on the bottom, and then I went and bought this. And again, with these beds, if you go to a lot of the retail stores, I seen just a regular flat one that was like $45, and it was very small. It might have been 3 feet long, 2.5 feet wide. It wasn't very big, and it was expensive. But I went on Craigslist, which is all over the country, and a lot of people actually make these things. So I got a large one. It's called Bed Buddies. I got that thing for $20, which that's a great deal. So also in there, and by putting this in here, which I won't have down the road, it kind of makes the cage a little bit smaller. So even though you have the large, by putting this bed in here, it makes everything a little bit smaller and tighter. So and obviously I have some of his favorite toys in there. He likes the chew sticks, the bully sticks, and he likes the Kong rubber toys. So he feels comfortable in there. And so day 1 went really well, no mistakes. Got into day 2, he got up like 7 o'clock in the morning, got him out, took him to the bathroom, and started with some training. So we go through the day, this and that. Now he's either, even during the day, laying on the side, or for the most part, over 70% of the time, he's going right inside his crate. And, I'll leave the house on day 2. I left for like half an hour, 45 minutes, and I'll put him in, shut the cage, and I'm telling him home. So as we get going, he'll recognize that as home, and never punish him, obviously, in there. You have to have common sense, hopefully. If you don't have common sense, I wouldn't even get a dog, because you need to adjust like I had to do. So put him in there. I put a couple pepperoni treats in there through the top. I dropped him in, shut the door. He whined a little bit as I was walking out, got out the door, left for 45 minutes, and came home. Walked in the door, obviously he heard me walking in the door, didn't make a sound, opened the cage, let him out. So, also again, I've been leaving the door open. The weather's great out here in Vegas right now. So, no worries with it being too cold or anything. Took him outside every time, after about 5 or 10 minutes, I see him drink some water. And he has not made a mistake inside day 2. So we got to day 3. Let's go to day 2 night. Day 2 night, leave the door open, getting ready, shut the lights out. Before I even get everything done, obviously I take him out one more time, and I, come in, I'm walking around doing a couple things, come back, he's in the crate. I don't even, and this is 100% against what I normally would do. So, crate doors open all night. Now the second night he slept like 4 hours before he got up. Took him out, told him potty. So now even during the day, I'll pick him up and put him on the grass or rocks, tell him potty. He goes basically every single time, which isn't anything great by me. Their bladder's small, they go a lot anyway. So that was day 2, no mistakes in the house. Day 3, same thing. Pretty routine, got up, trained him in the morning. He's doing real well with that, but I'll do another video on that. I want to do the crate thing. And day 3 was fantastic. No mistakes at all. I'm watching him, and I see him go to walk outside the door, and I peek, and I go in the kitchen to peek around the corner, and he's going out there, and he's doing number 2. Goes out now, 7 weeks old, no mistakes. So these dogs are ultra smart. They're amazing. So I'm like, wow, this is incredible. So going through day 3, he's walking out on his own. Sometimes I'll take him out, tell him potty, he'll go. And then probably about 5 or 6 o'clock at night, I started cooking, and I kind of lost track of him a little bit. And I don't know how it happened. He went over, but he did make a mistake just around his food and water bowl. And whose fault was that? It was mine. So I'm guessing probably 8 or 9 times out of 10 that your puppy, if you're all over it, makes a mistake, it's probably a human error. So that was my fault, because I was all over him with that. So he had a mistake, obviously no big deal. He went number 1, wiped it up. And one thing I've learned is when you're cleaning up the urine or the number 2, the poo, don't use ammonia, because evidently ammonia to dogs smells like urine. So if they're going in the same spot, that could be why. Also going to puppy pads, I don't believe in them, because if you put puppy pads inside, unless you don't have a crate and you have them in some area where you can't confine them, you're just giving them an excuse, I think, to go inside. So I've never ever used puppy pads. I just think it's a weak link right from the beginning, that you're giving into training your dog. You're just giving in an excuse to let the dog go inside on a puppy pad instead of doing your due diligence. Now, with everything that's going on with the COVID-19, obviously, I'm in food and beverage, so a lot of people are out of work like I am for almost 2 weeks now. So I have a lot more time to spend with Titan. So this is a big advantage for this dog, because he's already sitting and coming basically on command at 7 weeks and 4 days old. So again, I want to make sure I don't miss anything here. It's not cruel to put them obviously in the crate. They're used to that. They're used to caves or little caverns, where they feel comfortable. They like the secure places, so it's not cruel. It just so happens Titan, he just likes, he goes in on his own, and I haven't had to really shut the door. Now I did on night 3, he was in there passed out, so I took the door and I kind of shut it. I didn't lock it, and I left it open a little bit, but Titan hasn't made a whimper after that first 2 to 5 minutes on his first night here. So you talk about a blessing, and just like I said, a little bit of smarts, a whole lot of common sense. Now I'm in heaven right now that I don't have to sit and let this poor dog bark, because he's in there locked in. And again, I wouldn't have believed it that I would have to do it this way, but it works for Titan, and he's doing fantastic. So today I went out to get my mask, so when I go out, I'm protected. Put him in the crate, and I was getting ready to walk out, and he went, "Whoop," and that was it. I heard one little yelp. That was it. Walked out. The dog's amazing. And actually, Titan just walked over in the corner, if you can see him, on that little lip that hangs over. So I'm new to this YouTube, so hopefully this is okay. Probably a little bit long, but I will say, I've been dealing with the breeder. This dog was born February 13th, and I put an ad out on Craigslist. I was, looking for somebody, and very lucky. I went and got him and picked him up, because I was afraid they were going to close the California borders and make you quarantine. So I went over and picked him up, and just been a blessing. The dog's amazing, and just been really lucky. So I've been in touch with the owners since the first week. They got me, said, "Hey, we're going to have a litter," and they did, and I stayed in constant contact with them. Went up, great people, great dogs. So got really lucky and feel, pretty blessed to have Titan. And again, I get to spend a lot of time with him, so his training should go pretty swift. And, I'm a big advocate for Dobermans. I think back in the day, you know, they were the pit bull of the day back in the 70s and 80s, where, you know, people with the German Shepherds and Dobermans, you know, they made them mean. The dogs aren't mean. I want Titan to grow up on YouTube with social media, and this way when I put him to stud, people will know that he's social. I don't care if it's cats, birds, people, kids, you know, he'll be around everybody, and people, you know, I think it's really important that people know, you know, how your dog grew up. So Titan will grow up on YouTube. Hopefully people like the YouTube videos, because I went through a lot of them, like I was saying earlier, and a lot of them are horrible. A lot of people talking about himself, whatever, but it's, you know, sometimes on a 10-minute video, I see the dog on there for a minute and a half. So hopefully this helps. I don't even know if there's a spot in there. If you have any questions, I am phenomenal with animals, and put them on there. If there's an area to ask questions, I'll get back to you. I've got a lot of time on my hands when I'm not working with this dude. So thank you, and I'll be back on. Have a good day.